County personnel changes. For those who've been around a long time, there are a lot of changes taking place within county personnel positions that have an impact on Bolivar Peninsula. I'll start with emergency management. Garrett Foskett was promoted to emergency management coordinator. Garrett has been our nuisance abatement officer for a long time. We also have a deputy emergency management coordinator, Megan Kinney. And so that vacates our nuisance abatement position. Jack Ellison is our new, everybody wave, as our new nuisance abatement officer. That is his contact information. We are blessed to have Jack because he was a nuisance abatement officer at the health district, so he knows the county and he generally knows nuisance abatement, so that was helpful. But he was still getting up to speed. And hopefully over the next year you will see significant improvements and focus on customer service out of the permitting department. It's been an issue of concern for me for a couple of years. I think you will like Mike Shannon. I feel very good. He started in July. I feel very good about the hire. Nancy Bayer is assistant county engineer. She is greener, but we are trying to use some of the savings from cuts in other areas to beef up the engineering department, make them more responsive, make them more effective. Having a second engineer in the department to help with some of these issues goes a long way. Road and Bridge Department. Lane Harding and Rudy Altamato, the number 1 and the number 2 in the County Road and Bridge Department, are retiring in mid-January. Lee Crowder is being promoted to the head of Galveston County Road and Bridge. For me, that is both exciting and terrifying. As many of you know, early this year, we gave additional responsibilities to Lee, naming him Regional Coordinator for Services on the Bolivar Peninsula. Instead of just handling road and bridge, he was also helping coordinate the beach stickers and the parks and some of the capital improvement projects. I cannot believe Galveston County did not think to do that years ago. It has been such an improvement in terms of getting things going on the peninsula. And so him vacating that position terrifies me. When we elevated Lee to head up the regional coordinating position, we added a position in Bolivar Road and Bridge, a customer service position, and hired Clayton Como. Clayton's here somewhere. Raise your hand, Clayton. There he is in the back. Clayton was intended to take some of the load off of Lee so he could spread his time around, spread the butter on the bread a little thinner, if you know what I mean. And that's been good. Everybody tells me Clayton's doing a great job. So when Lee gets elevated to head County Road and Bridge, Clayton Como is going to get promoted to be the Bolivar Road and Bridge manager out of that customer service spot. And will have primary responsibility for running the Road and Bridge department over here. That then leaves the regional service coordinator position vacant. This is where things get really hairy. Constable William Como is going to take Lee Crowder's position coordinating services on Bolivar Peninsula. I feel good about that decision too. So William can't be here because he's on a cruise in the Caribbean having a good time. He and his bride, but he's off having a good time. The key to this position is it requires somebody who knows county government, can work with people, who knows the residents, and who has the trust of the people in Bolivar Peninsula. Because this position oftentimes becomes the conduit and the point of contact between the county government, commissioner's court, and what's going on over here. And so that needs to be somebody that the residents trust and knows how to work with people. And honestly, there's nobody else in the peninsula can do that job like William Como. And so he has agreed to take that position, for which we are very blessed. His deputy constable positions will continue to remain on the peninsula. Within the next week or two, I will be able to give you a clear answer of how that's going to happen. It is most likely that we will task those positions to one of the other constable's offices, and they will continue to work in the constable office. That is our preferred approach. I am absolutely committed, and I believe the Galveston County government is committed, to ensuring law enforcement officers who live on the peninsula continue to work and provide law enforcement. We need people who live here providing law enforcement. So if we can provide that process through the constable's office, we will do so. There is, under state law, a mechanism that would allow Commissioners Court in Galveston County only, on the peninsula only, to directly create and operate a law enforcement agency on the peninsula and keep local law enforcement. Other law enforcement agencies have expressed concern about creating another agency. Some have expressed concern about Commissioners Court being in the law enforcement business. I am not enthusiastic about Commissioners Court being in the law enforcement business. I would prefer to be able to achieve what we need to achieve, keeping local law enforcement on the peninsula through existing agency relationships. I hope to be able to tell you in the next week or two that we're able to do that. But if we are not, if something would go sideways, Commissioners Court does have the ability to employ and retain local law enforcement. And that's all I'll say about that. My term ends in December of 2016. I have chosen not to seek re-election to County Commissioner. That is probably the most difficult personal decision, professional decision I have made. I have wrestled over the issue for months. It is an entirely personal decision. I have a young family, and I would like to spend a lot more time with my kids over the next few years. I have some family responsibilities. I expect that the race for County Commissioner Precinct 1 will be heavily contested. There will be a number of candidates. Mr. Apfel, where's Daryl? Daryl Apfel back here, I'm sure is going to be running for County Commissioner. He'll be one candidate. Tim Paulson, Mayor of League City, will not tell you he's running for County Commissioner, but I will tell you he's running for County Commissioner. He will be a candidate. Barbara Meeks, who is chairwoman of the Galveston County Republican Party, is exploring the possibility of running for County Commissioner. And there will be some other candidates. I tell you, it is my utmost privilege to represent you. I absolutely love this job. I love it. And that is why the decision has been extremely difficult. I will continue to work very hard at this job over the next year and 3 months. If whoever is elected into this position is willing, I will assist that person on some of the projects that I'm working on, some of which are complicated and have a lot of background. So I want to ensure the Peninsula continues to get excellent representation. I will have more to say on that issue in the future, but that's what I will say about it tonight.